Did you know that the horn is often called the most difficult instrument to play? Well, according to Celine Rocha, author at the Oxford University Press, this is a fact. Hi, my name is JC Hilburn, and today I want to teach you what is often regarded as the most difficult instrument to play, the French horn. I myself have been a hornist for 5 years, and I have compiled a few components for what I think every new French hornist needs to know. These components include posture, breathing, and pitch control. All of these components help a horn player become better. And for new players, these are the building blocks you want to establish to become a good player in the future. So let's get started with our first component of playing the French horn, posture. Posture is super important because it is the building block for every single other component that follows. If your posture is lacking, all other skill sets that you need, which include pitch, tone, and sound, are affected. They're all thrown off. And even your breathing can be thrown off by your posture. So your posture is really important to how you're playing and just how you look as a horn player. Because often when your posture is off, people don't regard you as a good horn player and they think you don't know what you're doing. So you want good posture. And so now that I've dramatized this posture, you may be wondering what it looks like. Well, it's just sitting up straight with your feet flat on the floor. It really is that simple, but I promise you a whole lot of players get it wrong. New players and experienced players alike. The following picture is what correct posture would look like. As you can see, her feet are flat on the floor and she's sitting up straight. Her back is really tall and it's almost like a string is pulling her from the top of her head. This is what I want you to mimic whenever you're learning to play horn and your posture because this is a phenomenal example. Next, I would like to talk about breathing. Breathing is also an essential skill to playing the French horn. And now you may be wondering to yourself, breathing is a natural function of the body. How can you breathe differently than you normally do? Well, you can. There's a difference between natural breathing and then the breathing required for French horn. The breathing required for French horn is breathing from your diaphragm. And this is just breathing in through your nose until your stomach expands and releasing all that air out through your mouth when you're playing. And by doing this, you're allowing yourself to have good air support from the notes that you're playing in the musical phrases. And you're allowing your sound to be much better improved because you have the air support, which makes it a lot cleaner and that makes your pitch and your tone better. So, all those components are helped by breathing, which is why it's really important. This next diagram shows what correct breathing would look like. As you can see, they're breathing in through their nose or the mouth and the belly is expanding. This is in that picture right here. Their belly is expanding and they're breathing in. And then in this picture, you can see they're breathing out and their belly is going inward. This is what you want to do whenever you're breathing for French horn because it allows you, like I said, to have that good air support for your instrument. Next, I would like to talk about pitch control. Pitch control is broken up into two components, and the first I want to talk about is hand placement. Hand placement is just how your hand is placed within the bell. And how you do this is really important because it controls how airy you are. Because if your hand is really far in within the bell, you can't really hear sound. But if it's really far outward, the sound of the horn becomes overbearing. And it can control how sharp or flat you are. And sharp or flat is just how high above you are a note, which would be sharp, and how far below you are from a note, which would be flat. And all these things are super duper important to make sure that you're sounding good. And by your hand placement, you can help control how sharp and flat you are, like I said, and how airy you are. So each hand placement for a horn player is going to resemble this picture that I have right here, but it may differ depending on if you're sharp or flat because your hand can be moved slightly over in different directions to help mitigate that. The next part I want to talk about in pitch control is embouchure. To make sound for horn, you have to buzz, and buzzing is just blowing air between your lips to create sound. How you place your lips on the mouthpiece, which carries the air into your horn, is very important because if you do it incorrectly, you can have a muddy sound, and it can even affect how your teeth grow in and push them backwards. So this picture here shows really good embouchure because his lips on the sides are sealed tightly, but in the middle he has space for air to pass. This is what you want to mimic because you don't want air to escape from the sides because then it makes you sound really airy, but you don't want it too tight here because then that can make you sound muddy and just compressed in your sound. So embouchure is super duper important to make sure that your sound quality is good on horn, and that ties into your pitch and into your tone. So please make sure you have good embouchure, not just for the sake of your teeth, but the sake for your sound as well. Now, I know that was a lot of information to take in, but I promise you that all these components that I've mentioned today, which are posture, breathing, and pitch control, are vital to learning how to play the horn. And not just for new learners, but even for experienced learners who need to go back and revisit some of the foundations for playing the French horn. But I promise if you use all these components effectively and you keep them in the forefront of your mind, you will become a fantastic player in the future. And I just wish you all the best of luck learning how to play this beautiful instrument called the French horn, and that you will use these principles to do it to the best of your ability. Thank you.